Oh my God, I'm getting creeped out. Was he missing a finger?
He had a birthmark and his hands were giant and they were red and purple.
He kept telling me, tell her my hand's back to normal. My hand's back to normal. And I'm like, what? Oh, that's creepy. Oh, I just got the chills. Paula, your father's also here. And did you lose your husband as well? They're both here together. And it's like, they're both yelling on the other side. I'm like, sir, can you calm down just a little bit? Because I have to be able to hear what everyone's saying. I'm so happy that the two of you were here right now. And wait a minute, Paula, you're smoking? Who was the smoker? I keep smelling all smoke on this side of the screen. I keep hearing him saying, stop smoking, stop smoking, stop smoking. You're not supposed to be smoking. Are you hiding it?
Oh, she don't hide it.
He keeps telling me, I thought she was quitting. I thought she was quitting.
She quits all the time.
Well, listen, please know your loved ones in spirit can see what's happening. I kept hearing about the smoke and I smell it all on the side of the screen. So when your loved ones come through, what happens is they'll say certain things and get me to say and get me to say certain messages. So when I was connecting, he showed me the smoking pack. I see smoking here and I keep hearing him saying she was supposed to stop. So know that that's your stepfather. Even though he was your stepfather, it doesn't mean that he leaves you in heaven. Your stepfather is with you every day. And he tells me, Matt, she's still my responsibility now that I died, he tells me. And he says to me that he worries about you every day the same way that he worries about his wife. And I got to tell you this, when I'm connecting with him, this was really hard because this was a man who didn't think he was going to die, he tells me. He says to me, Matt, I knew that I was sick. I knew that there were issues going within my body. He says, but the one thing is that I wish that I would have taken better care of myself. When I'm connecting with him, he tells me, Paula, that you're upset every single day because your husband did not do the right thing when I'm connecting with him. Mm-hmm. He says to me, Matt, he goes, I felt like as long as I was up and walking and moving, that I was going to wake up and see tomorrow. He says, and he tells me that he used to argue with you all the time about his health and what he was doing. And he says to me, Matt, can you please let her know? I know she had my best interest at heart. I know she loved me. He says, but the one thing is I didn't want to live life on machines, he tells me. And I didn't want to live life going in for surgeries, going back and forth to doctors. He says, I wanted to live life the way that I wanted to live life. And that's why he was very afraid of getting checked out. He was very afraid of being seen. He tells me that he fought with you all the time about going to the doctors. Mm-hmm. But he tells me also that he wants to let you know that you were his one and only. And I got to tell you, your husband was a flirt here in this world. He tells me, Matt, I loved women, he said to me. He goes, I loved women. I was a flirt here in this world. He says, but my wife was the only one that mattered to me. And he needs you to know that. And he tells me that you're taking his death too hard. I see that there's still shirts that you kept of your husbands here in this world.
Yep.
He says, and Matt, there are things that she refuses to get rid of just because they're mine.
Yep.
He tells me this. He says, Matt, you better let her know that thank God I died before her, because if God forbid, he goes, I would have lost my wife. He goes, I wouldn't have known what to do with myself. He actually tells me that you went through a health scare. Is that true when he was here?
I've had pneumonia off and on over the years. Yes.
He says to me that there's only one thing. Let me say something. When I'm connecting with your husband, he was not afraid of anything when I'm connecting with him. No. He tells me there was one thing that he was always afraid of, and that was your health. If God forbid you got sick, a cold, whatever it was, he says to me, Matt, that scared the shit out of me because I know that I could fix anything. If we needed money, I'd go and get him money. He says, if there was an issue with the family, I could fix it. There was an issue with the car, I could fix it. I wasn't worried about it. But he says, when it came to my wife, he goes, he would get so nervous about you when it came to even if you had a sniffle, if you had a cold, no matter what happened. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
He says to me, and I worried more about you than my own life. That's what he tells me. And that's how you know it's true love. It's funny looking at this relationship and how I see this. Because when it came to your husband, he wouldn't go to the doctors. He wouldn't be seen. He wouldn't do any of those things. But when it came to you, if you had a sniffle, if there was something wrong where you didn't feel right, he was making you go.
Yeah.
So know that he needs you to know this. He says, Matt, I stuck around long enough just to take care of her, to make sure she was taken care of. And I'm not talking about in the health way. I'm talking about financially, in your house, all of those things. He says, you were my top priority, and you are now. You know what's interesting is this. I've never had a soul tell me this. Your husband said to me, I wasn't betting on living a long life. or as long as I did.
No.
He told you this?
Yep. His best friend, his brother, passed away, and he always said to me that he didn't want to live past 50, and he didn't.
He said to me that. I'm like, I don't understand this. And he said to me, I thought I had more time, but he didn't think he was going that quick. He says to me when I'm connecting, Matt, I knew I wasn't going to live a long life. And you know, I'm going to tell you something being a medium. There's sometimes when your soul just knows something. Don't ask me how they know. We just sometimes know. And he knew he was not going to outlive you. He tells me that. And he knew that he was going to die young. So somehow, some way, your husband's not sharing with me, but somehow, some way, he got some guidance. He knew it. He tells me he knew it. How he knew it, I don't know. He knew it. And this is his way of acknowledging from the other side that as hard as it is to live life without him, he tells me that you are such a fantastic mom and you are such a fantastic wife. He says, and the joy that I get, Matt, every day is watching my wife with the kids, watching my wife in the house, and every single thing that you do. Now, I'm also hearing, it sounds like Freddie. Is there Freddie or Eddie?
I have an uncle, Eddie.
That had died. This person had passed?
Yep.
Know that soul's here. And this is really weird. Oh my God, I'm getting creeped out. Was he missing a finger?
He had an abnormality with his hand. His hands were like a giant. He had a birthmark and his hands were giant and they were red and purple. Yes.
He kept telling me, tell her my hand's back to normal. My hand's back to normal. And I'm like, what?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's creepy. Oh, I just got the chills. Because he tells me that when he was here, they used to call him they used to make fun of him. They used to call him like Freddie Fingers when I'm connecting with him.
Probably when he was growing up. Yep.
Oh my God. So no, he keeps going like this to me on the other side. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why? I feel like, E.T., how E.T. goes like this. Like he's going like this to me. And I'm like, this is weird. This is weird. So no, his hand is back to normal. That's crazy.
Good.
He's there on the other side also watching over you.
Thank you.
And I just heard your mother also here as well. Your mother said to me, Matt, just give my daughter a kiss for me. Just blow her a kiss for me. Let her know that in heaven, she says, I am with her. Because your mom was someone that you cherished here in this world. And she shows me you being by her side till she took her last breath here in the physical. So can I just tell you that your mom wants to thank you for that last kiss you gave her. And she wants to thank you for laying on the side of her.
I was doing hospice with her.
She tells me you used to sing to her.
Yeah.
Because I hear you like singing little songs to your mom and rubbing her arm. And she says to me, Matt, when I died, she says, I left this world and I knew how much my daughter had loved me.
My best friend.
So please know that these are all of your loved ones on the other side coming through, letting you know that when you think about heaven, you are not alone. They're all here and with you.
Oh, I know. I feel them every day.
Well, this is just validation. And Marissa, I also have a child here that was lost with you. Is it okay to talk about?
Yeah.
So was this an early pregnancy? Because I keep seeing a little baby that's here.
Yeah.
So please know your grandmother just showed me that baby in her arms. And I know that this is hard for you to talk about because you think about every day about this child, if this child was born, what this child would be doing, and know that that soul is an angel with you every single day. And is it all right to tell you everything?
Yeah.
Your grandmother's going back now. Sometimes I might be off on timing because when it comes to the other side, they'll just tell me about certain things that they've seen before they had died and when they had died. And your grandmother keeps saying to me, I'm glad she got out of that relationship. I'm glad she got out of that relationship. So did you just leave a relationship or were you getting out of a relationship at the time that she died?
She got out of a relationship way before. She's got another daughter that she's been with the father for forever. But the father of the baby that passed, she ended that relationship.
That's the one. So let her know, know that when you restarted your life with that new person and you had those children and that family, that was your second chance from God, your grandmother showing me. So no, it's her way of letting you know. And this is why I say, like, when it comes to timing, I'm not sure she was just showing me that baby and saying, I'm glad she got out of that relationship. I'm glad that she got out of that relationship. Because it's your grandmother's way of showing you that the man that you're with now is who you're supposed to be with. Because that person from your past, unfortunately, would never be able to give you what you have now. And
Yeah.
your grandmother was afraid for that for you. You know, she actually tells me that when she was here, she was afraid that you were going to end up with that person. So no, it's her way of letting you know now that she is also watching over you. So it's your stepfather, and they are there every single day and by your side.
Thank you. Love you, Matt.
Oh, I love you too. Thank you so much.